Here's a pen that will write a poem of me and you.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle, and welcome, my friends, to the final part of main character May.
And to close out the month, we'll be taking a look at Major Bludd's appearances in other media.
But before we do, there's something I've forgotten to mention. Twice, in fact.
His dog tags. I was gonna talk about them in part 1, but forgot to put it in the script. No problem, I thought. I can put them in part 3, and then I forgot again. So I'm shoehorning it into this video. They look neat on the first figure and are mysterious since, like many things, they are never freaking explained. Are they from his enemies? Fallen comrades?
No idea!
Though awesome people in my comment section have brought up that they are supposed to be from Joes he's taken out, as explained in a book. You can still interpret them any way you want though.
Now, let's talk about the other media, starting with the cartoon.
He's right there at the very beginning in the first episode of the first miniseries, The Mass Device. His most significant contribution is collecting radioactive crystals for Cobra to power their mass device. He also inadvertently guarantees Cobra's failure by refusing to kill Snake Eyes and even letting him go with his own crystals. You might call this being merciful, but Snake Eyes is completely irradiated and will die soon anyway.
Hold your fire! Poor devil. He's a walking time bomb. Let him go! He'll die soon enough!
And if you've seen Chernobyl, you know what radiation poisoning does to the human body.
So shooting him in the back would have been kinder, really. Bludd is in all 3 of the first miniseries, and since they all have the same story beats, namely the Joes and Cobra have to find or do stuff all around the world, so they split up in teams, Bludd always gets to be in command of one of those teams. In Revenge of Cobra, he's at the Palace of Doom. In Pyramid, he installs one of the cubes. He shows up in a bunch of Season 1 episodes, but he's never the focus of the story. He doesn't appear in Season 2's opening miniseries, Arise Serpentor Arise, and is barely in Season 2. Like he's in one episode for a brief cameo. Same with G.I.Joe the movie.
I guess that's what happens when you don't have a toy to sell anymore.
He did have a toy to sell when the Deke series happened, so he's seen in a couple of episodes in his Sonic Fighters outfit. We don't learn much about his personality from his cartoon appearances. The most notable thing is that he looks pretty different from his toy. His black armor is silver, his helmet is grey instead of black, and his arm?
Yes, here we go with the arm again.
The arm is also silver. It looks like robotic armor and can bend at the freaking elbow.
Now, I'm just speculating here.
But I believe the reason for the color change is because pure black doesn't look good in animation. That's also why Snake Eyes was purple and then grey instead of being toy accurate. He was in the Renegades cartoon, which I haven't seen, but is notable because he's got both of his eyes, and they really lean into his Australian thing with his Mad Max car and a knife.
Bludd has one more notable animated appearance.
In the Resolute miniseries, where he appears as a corpse having just been killed.
Harsh.
With that, let's move on to the comics. He first appears in issue 15, being hired by Cobra Commander to deal with Destro. His arm looks robotic and is, once again, not frickin' explained. He's properly introduced by Cobra Commander in the next issue as a fearless fighter, a skilled tactician, and a published poet. Bludd then graces us with a poem.
Ahem. Raise your glasses and sing the praises of our leader who nothing phases. Cobra Commander, he's my chum. I trust him like I trust my gun.
After attempting to kill poetry, Bludd then attempts to kill Destro in the same issue, but is thwarted by the Baroness, who gets blown up. He's captured by the Joes a little later, but escapes with a very injured Baroness, leaving Scarface to die as we discussed last month. He takes her to a plastic surgeon in Switzerland to get her fixed up, inventing her last name, De Cobre, that later kinda stuck as her actual name. He isn't doing this out of kindness, but to get money from Cobra Commander, and to make sure Destro doesn't kill him. He's later part of a conspiracy to kill Cobra Commander that fails.
And then he just disappears from the comic for a good chunk of issues.
He comes back in issue 57, where he's impersonating Destro, who had been missing. That didn't end well for him.
Then he's gone again for almost 50 issues.
Finally reappearing in issue 104, dressed as Carmen Sandiego for some reason. He's not with Cobra, but has been hired to kill Snake Eyes by a corrupt US general. This leads to his last appearance in issue 106, where he even gets to be on the cover. He fails, of course, but isn't captured or anything, so he doesn't get a real send-off.
And those were the comics.
No, I'm not getting into the modern comic stuff, I haven't read a lot of it, but feel free to discuss those in the comments below. He had a good run in the beginning with lots of intrigue and double-crossing, but he was absent for such a large portion of the later comic. I'm surprised they didn't bury him in the freighter with all those other characters they wanted to get rid of.
I'm going to circle back to the arm one more time.
While, as you've learned from this video, none of the media explain it, once again my awesome commenters have pointed out it has been officially established it's armor to protect him when he's using his missile launcher gun, so thanks for that.
Oh, and to wrap things up,
he didn't appear in the live-action movies, though he was seen on a datasheet in Retaliation, according to the wiki. Kinda pointless, but there you go. And that was Major Bludd, the first and I think only major on main character May. Some may argue he isn't a major character, but it's right there in his codename. Overall, I think he's an interesting character that should have gotten more exposure. And this month, I think I did my bit to help a little with that. Or at least I hope I did.
And I also hope you've enjoyed main character May. We'll be doing it again next year when it's time for one of the Joes to get the spotlight. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody, and hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing.
In my hand is a pen that will write a poem of me and you.
And your bollocks did up good, you did.
Bludd has one more noted anime appearance. Anime? No, it's animated. Yeah, okay.